the prices for heads are about to go up another $100. I've been debating on this, and I've come to the decision that this is gonna be the thing, right? So talking to the machine shop the other day, they about hot tanking the heads. They said they do $60 just to jet wash it, and they do, with an extra $40, they do this glass beading shit. And he says that when you do it like that, the head comes out looking like it's brand new, right? So what I wanted to show you guys real quick was a head that I have already cleaned. I've already pressure washed, right? And so even with pressure washing, this is what we're still dealing with, right? Now, I try to cut corners as much as I can, where I can, to try to save you guys money. Does this thing need to be 100% clean everywhere to run properly? Nah. But, I mean, when you're paying upwards of $1,000, would you like it to be? Yeah. So, again, like I wanted to show you, I can clean this shit by hand, but I can only do so much. Everybody likes to chime in, throw their fucking opinion. Oh, do this, oh, do that. Like I haven't already tried every fucking thing you can think of. I've gone the degreaser routes. I've gone the degreaser soaking routes. I've done I've gone and done oven cleaner. And there's always some kind of drawback. It either never gets completely cleaned or it does something to the metal that fucking tarnishes it up a little bit. So, yes, I can still clean a good deal of this. Like, of course, I can clean the edges because this is all easy to get to stuff. But when you start talking about in there and these dips and stuff, it's hard. It's really difficult to get at. It's just doesn't leave a lot of space for fingers and scrubbing pads. And even if I spend hours on it, it's gonna take fucking forever. So instead of spending that kind of money on a head that you're gonna have fresh valve springs and shit, looks all brand new and clean, and then the rest of it looks scummy as hell, I'm just gonna start taking it to the machine shop to have them do their thing and just charge on the extra $100. Now I will still be measuring the heads. I just did this one again. That's why the head was looking shiny like that. I just cleaned it up real quick and put the straight edge on there, and it measures fine. So I will still be checking the clearances and shit. And of course, you can still have the option to shave the head for $85. But if you don't need to, I won't tell you have to, right? So for $100 extra, you will be getting a spotless, brand new looking head. And for $185, it can be shaved. Now, I'm showing this now as a before because I'm getting ready to go to the machine shop and drop it off, and then I can show you what it looks like after. So I guess there's probably, you won't even be seeing this. I'm taking it on Friday, but because it's Friday and the shop is going to close at 6, I don't imagine that I would have it before Monday at the earliest, and maybe a little later. That's also a little bit of a test too, to see how long it's going to take them to turn it around. But yeah, I was doing that GSR head the other day. Last night, doing the GSR head, and this is also another one that I cleaned. Like, if you see on Instagram, it's mucky as hell, and I did a decent amount of cleanup on it, but still deep down in the pits, it's still not as clean as I'd like it to be. Still dinged up in some places, and this cost the dude over $1,000 to get this head. So with $100 extra, it could have been looking fresh and clean as hell. Now, I didn't push him to do it because this guy waited a long time. I think he made his deposit early in December, and we're at the middle of February to get it back because I had to find a head, and then the valve springs was on back order, so that took some time. So it was one of those situations where I didn't want to come to him, and because we, a valve broke in transit when I ordered the head, and we wanted to go ahead and upgrade to Super Tech. So I just didn't want to push and be like, hey, look, bro, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Because I didn't want to make it seem like I'm keep coming back for money. So now, to avoid these kind of situations, I'm just going to go ahead and factor in the extra $100 into it and get it, done the right way. And who knows, man, maybe eventually this will translate over to the blocks. Like, there's some blocks I get that are relatively clean and just gunked up on the outside that are easy to take care of. You've seen plenty of transformations on this channel, or on Instagram at least. So there's that. But I would imagine that eventually I'm going to lean heavily towards just machining everything, instead of catering to the super tight budget, or just assuming that that's the way we're going to go. But of course, these are all these machine costs will reflect in the overall thing. So right now, most of my most popular short blocks are cast piston with forged rods, for whether it's NAK series or Turbo B or D, and those are $1,500 short blocks. Now, if you add bore hone and decking, that's another $350 to $500 depending on what shop I use. So you can imagine that those same short blocks that some people still think are expensive will easily jump up to $1,800. But it is what it is, man. Got to pay to play, especially if you want the good quality. I mean, everybody wants the best quality ever, but pay the least amount of money, and that's not how this works. I'm working on a home, but this is 100% a business. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll fade out here to black for a second and then come back in. You'll see the brand new head. So, they promised me a head that would look brand new, and it almost is. There's some very tiny little elements left over of some gunk, but for the most part, it is spotless where it needs to be. I am super happy. And I was saying they were going to charge $100. They only charged me $60. I'm not 100% sure why. My suspicion is that it's because I didn't get jet washed. I think that they may have only just glass beaded this. Why? Because I had a really dull finish to the surfaces and shit, and also mainly because it's got glass grit. As you can still hear glass grit on the head. I would imagine that if this went into the wash, the jet wash, that it would go after the beading, and that it would be gritless, because a jet wash implies high-powered blasting spring. But it's whatever. I don't give a shit. You know, if I can, you know, originally the dude said 60 for jet wash and then 40 extra for glass beading, and so 100 total. And then when I was there, he was like, well, he goes, it's $100 for disassembly and cleaning, and we only disassembled. Or he goes, we didn't disassemble, so just the cleaning, $60. So my suspicion is that they just glass beaded the thing, and which is why there's a little bit of grit, and is why there was a little bit of a discount there. And again, I'm okay with that because we got very good results, you know, the excellent results, and it gives the discount makes it cheaper for you guys. It just means that I have to go over this to clean it up one more time. So it's either I pressure wash it again, or I just take it to the mineral spirit tank, which is most likely what I'm going to do. But yeah, all the passengers are clean as fuck. It's great. I like it, you know. So this particular head, like I said, I took because it was one of the nastiest ones I had on hand. That was already, you know, easily for me to grab, and the results are fucking excellent. And this head I'm gonna work on this weekend because I've already got valve seals. What I'm gonna do is this is an RAA K24 base model head, so I'm going to upgrade it with the dual springs out of the K20 head, the stock dual springs. This particular dual spring setup is only dual springs for I believe the intake side. The exhaust side doesn't have them, but the exhaust side springs are still much bigger than the base model springs. Here's a quick side-by-side comparison. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious there, the difference. So I'm okay with revving these out to 8,000 or whatnot with the base model springs, but if you want to add a little bit of insurance and, you know, take it up to 8,500 with the stock VTEC springs or whatnot. So this will be a VTEC killer head that I'll have assembled. I don't have cams for it. I'm thinking that I'm going to offer this one for probably 500 for the upgrade for the springs, because I think my regular base model VTEC killer head is 370 without cams. But we're gonna, you know, this was clean, so there's that to take into consideration, and also I'm going to be upgrading the springs. So yep, again, super happy with the results, and think I'll be doing this with all my heads now on, or most of my heads. I think I have one or two heads that are decently clean, so that I won't take in. But all the rest of them that have like that heavy gunk, that I can generally just eyeball a head or eyeball a block and tell how bad it's going to be or how hard it's going to be to clean up. I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and peace.